battleship ever completed. She would be commissioned on June 11th, 1944, and there she would participate in Allied invasions of Iwo Jima, Okinawa, and Allied operations against mainland Japan. On September 2nd, 1945, the Japanese forces would surrender right here on her decks, bringing World War II to a formal end after more than a decade of world conflict. In 1950, the USS Missouri would be called upon once again to serve 2 tours during the Korean War. And then with her service complete, for the first time she would be decommissioned in 1955. She would join the mothball fleet in Bremerton, Washington, and there she would stay for the next 29 years. Following a massive modernization in 1984, USS Missouri would come out of retirement again and recommissioned on May 10th, 1986, participating in Operation Earnest Will, Operation Desert Shield, and on January 17th, 1991, would be among the first to fire Tomahawk missiles as Operation Desert Storm began. Following the Gulf War, Mighty Mo would return here to Pearl Harbor for Operation Remembrance, where a grateful nation would thank her for her service and remember that fateful day 50 years prior, December 7th, 1941. Now come March 31st, 1992, this beautiful ship, Battleship Missouri, would be decommissioned for the second and final time. She would rejoin the mothball fleet, and the proud era of the battleship sailor would come to a quiet close. However, this is not where her story stops, folks. Against all odds and many quiet attempts by the USS Missouri Memorial Association, she returned back here to Pearl Harbor in 1998 with a new mission. She first opened for tours as a memorial on January 29th, 1999. And now today, Battleship Missouri stands bow to bow with USS Arizona, forming the bookends, both the beginning and the end of World War II for the United States. She symbolically watches over the fallen of Pearl Harbor, and she continues to remain an international symbol for peace that inspires, educates, and motivates all nations and generations. That's a lot of history squeezed into a couple minutes there. Is there any questions before I move forward with our presentation? She was under power, and then for the last little bit of it, they did help tow her in. Good question. How many people asked that one? Any other questions?
How much does she weigh?
We're getting to that in the next portion.
Go.
No spoilers.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right. USS Arizona. Sorry. Arizona's on my mind because we just got done talking about her. All right. USS Missouri is 887 feet 3 inches long. That's the equivalent of 3 American football fields, end zone to end zone. From the bottom of her keel to the top of her mast, she's 216 feet 6 inches tall, which is basically a 20-story building. Her beam or her width is 108 feet 2 inches, just allowing her to squeeze on through the Panama Canal. Now I know we're here on vacation, but I got one trivia question for you on this tour. Just one, promise. Does anyone know how wide the Panama Canal was back then? You did get a major hint with 108. Wait, what?
182.
110. Just allowing under a foot on either side of the ship to squeeze on through. So the Missouri's been repainted a time or two here and there. She is a pretty hefty girl. The Panama Canal allows U.S. ships to traverse the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean, saving 2 of our most precious assets, both time and fuel, rather than sailing all around South America. Her weight is about 58,000 displacement tons fully loaded. This is including crew and supplies. Her top speed recorded is 33 knots, which is 40 miles per hour land speed. So you can say the Iowa-class battleship was indeed built for speed. A lot of information yet again. Any questions before I move on to what I think is the coolest part about this presentation?
What does the BB, Missouri BB-63?
So, all ships marked with BB stands for battleship. And the reason for my thinking is because, you know, BB is a little more professional than BS. That's just my thinking. I don't. So the blue flag was the admiral for the Navy, red one was MacArthur's flag for the Army.
And how many people would have been on the ship?
In World War II, there would be up to 3,000. After the 80s, anywhere from 1,500 to 1,600. Good question. Any other questions?
I mean, isn't the original deck, I think.
On this main deck here, no. This began renovation in 2010, and it's a combination of fur and teak. I don't know the exact amount, but I'm pretty sure a lot. Any other questions? All right, you're like, quit holding the suspense, move on. All right, I got you. All right, now for the guns, and I'm not talking about these bad boys, I'm talking about those ones right there. This Missouri is armed with 16-inch 50 caliber guns. We have 9 guns in total. We have 3 guns per turret and 3 turrets in total. We have 2 turrets here in the front and 1 turret in the back there. One gun alone weighs 239,000 pounds. That's the same size as a NASA space shuttle. So we have basically 9 NASA space shuttles on board our ship. It takes a minimum crew of 77 men to operate these turrets, an average of 96, or a maximum of 110 men. These guns are breech loaded at plus 5 degrees and can elevate to where they currently sit at 45 degrees in just 4 seconds. It takes 6 bags of gunpowder just for one shot alone. You can actually see a replica there of the gunpowder bag, the giant marshmallow as I call it. Each bag weighs 110 pounds, totaling out to 660 pounds per shot fired. Each gun can move independently of each other, and each turret can rotate from port to starboard a 480 degrees in just a minute and a half. We carry 2 types of projectiles, the first being the armor-piercing round, which you can see there as the wave break. This round weighs 2,700 pounds and is designed to penetrate rocket plating and reinforced concrete bunkers. Next, we have the high-capacity explosive round, weighing 1,900 pounds, designed to bombard land targets leaving behind a 50-foot wide by 20-foot deep crater. That's taking a full-size tennis court and putting in 2 stories into the ground. Now, our maximum rate of fire is 2 rounds per minute, meaning we can fire each of those guns every 30 seconds. Our maximum accurate distance, and when I say accurate, I'm not talking inches, I'm not talking centimeters, I'm talking dead on. It's 23 nautical miles, 26 nautical miles, anywhere here over the horizon, or just a fun light fact for you, anywhere here on the island of Oahu. The speed at which these projectiles travel is 2,500 feet per second, or at Mach 2 the speed of sound, meaning we can reach any target within those 23 miles in just 91 seconds. Now, one question I commonly get asked, does the ship move at all when we fire one turret or all turrets at the same time? My answer for you guys would be not even 1 inch. And this is due to our recoil counter system at the base of the guns behind those black bags, or aka the bloomers. What does happen is the gun will retract 4 feet backwards and then go out again when we're ready to fire. Another question I commonly get asked, can we fire in the position that the guns are currently facing? My answer would be, again, no. Because this antenna behind you, unlike modern ships, does not retract, so it'd come crashing down on all of us. All right. Any questions before we move on to our next stop? All right. Moving forward. As we go up these set of stairs, please make sure you're hanging on to the railings.
How many men, is it, when you said 88, is it per gun, or is it all of these guns?
So we have 3 turrets in total. We'd have a select few men in each turret, and then each turret does go 5 decks below. So there's people on all floors working these turrets.
Okay, and it's going to be 88.